conference this week, believe it or not, is going to start with your feet again. So this is my last bit about your feet, and I hope that this last month you guys have fallen a little bit more in love with your feet, or bringing a little bit more attention to how you care for them and how they really care for you. Still earthing and going barefoot as much as possible and extending your toes in your yoga practice. So the last bit about your toes that I want to say, or your feet, is that what we know physiologically is that if you do go barefoot and you do like strengthen your feet more, that you'll find that you also strengthen your core and your posture is better. So within the practice, what do we call strengthening the core? So all the Ashtangis talk about it. All the t-shirts say it. The bandhas, right? So we have two locks that we're constantly within the practice trying to have engaged, Uddiyana Bandha and Mula Bandha. And what I want you guys to pay attention to is whatever you're doing, I won't do any standing poses today, but the Prasarita Padotanasanas, or those forward bends, do you realize the more that you can engage your feet and root down into the floor, the more you can pick up Uddiyana Bandha, hollow that belly, and really lift your pelvic floor and engage the perineal muscles, which I think if we talk about, we probably ignore the feet most of the time in our yoga practice. But as much as we want to engage the bandhas for the whole practice, how much do you really think percentage-wise are you engaged in your bandhas? Just, you don't have to tell me, but just an honest little evaluation yourself. Like, really, how often are you engaged in your bandhas? So if you want to train yourself to be stronger here, train your feet to be more engaged. The more, and again, think about them as a rooting system or as caissons on a building. The deeper you can throw down those roots or pillars, the more you can lift up here. If you think of everything as dynamic action, right? I'm pushing forward, I'm pulling back. So this is how we can really hollow and engage here. So just think about that through your practice today. And I'll, of course, remind you in primary series of all the opportunities we can take to engage the feet more and pull the belly in more. So moving into a little bit of that is one of the major parts of any yoga practice, but I'm just going to say especially Ashtanga. And I do think this is one of the reasons I fell in love with Ashtanga, and I also think it's one of the reasons that I chose to take a turn in my career and really make this something I do full time. And that is your ability to focus your mind. So in the Ashtanga 8 limbs, which limb would that be? Which limb do we study to focus your mind? Dharana. Dharana. Very good. So the idea is you want to focus or concentrate, but the literal translation, I tell you guys this all the time, as Tamara is showing it, is to hold. And the idea is that we want to hold our mind in one place, or we want to direct where we hold our mind. And the truth of it is, if you guys, what we know is that it's very easy to say this, or very easy for me to teach, but it's very difficult to practice. And so Ashtanga is a very specific method that is intended to help you hold your mind and focus your mind. As I've been saying, this is your boot camp here. This is your training mat. And this mat trains you to be stronger, to be more flexible, to get more energy, to breathe more efficiently, but also to train your mind to hold your mind in one place. So this next chapter we're on with Casper, we had to move forward a little bit in the book. We're on page 125. I'm going to ask you guys to read the next 4 pages, and it's entitled Attention Management. And this is the third part of the pyramid we're studying with Casper. There was the why, how, and the what. This is the what. And we're looking at attention management as how you are able to, in life, focus your attention and be present for the things you really want to be present for. And I love the way he starts the chapter, because he says, to manage your attention, not your time. And this was like sort of a stopper for me to think about this, because I'm sure with all of you, myself, I'm always like, oh, I don't have enough time, or I need time for this, or I don't need more time for that. And I'm always thinking about time as this commodity that I want more of, or that I need more of, or I need to manage better. But to think of it as attention kind of shifts the way we view it and the way we use it as well, to think of it's not just time is really the quality of your attention within that time. And in that, it starts to break it down again for us to think of, which has been our studies this last semester too, is what is really worthy of my time? Or what is really, to take this even deeper, to say, what is really worthy of my attention? Because my attention is very precious, right? So what do I want to really give my attention to? And when I decide that, how well am I able to really be fully present for something, right? So in this practice of Ashtanga, there's a methodology that actually follows suit with the things that Casper talks about. I'm just going to read his list really quick because I myself have applied Casper's list off the mat and sort of in my life, and I found it to be really transformative. So it's simple. In this chapter, we're going to do some biohacks. We're going to do one thing at a time. We're going to find the golden hour. We're going to use rituals to get into the zone. Transform your workplace into a focused temple. Take a break, mental intervals with the Pomodoro technique, and go on information diets. Listen to a video game music or other music. And of course, the last biohack in this chapter is the coffee naps, which some of you guys have taken your coffee naps this week and said that they were 2 thumbs up, the coffee naps. Were you the coffee napper? She's like, I love it. So, so what I want to point out is the first 4 of the list that Casper has for focusing your mind and your attention on something are the Ashtanga system. We do one thing at a time. We don't come in here and multitask. We come in here and we do one asana at a time, and we focus on that one breath, one asana, and do it in that way. The second thing is find your golden hour. And for all of you, it comes down to what's worthy of your time, what's worthy of your attention. Is for many of us, it's morning. Our golden hours are morning. But those of you that come in the evening too, I know your schedules. And you guys really carve that time out as your golden time that you are given to this practice or for yourself, and to come here and focus. And then the next one is to use rituals to get into the zone. Ashtangis, we're all about it, right? So we come into this room and then we bring our hands in front of our hearts and we recite the invocation. And that is really about setting your mind up for the practice. In Sanskrit we say sankalpa, which means intention. So we make this Sanskrit chant that says, I honor this practice, I honor my relationship to the practice, I honor my relationship to the teacher, the parampara, the passing on to me in this lineage. And in that we begin with respect, and we begin with intention, and we begin with focus. We take that into the next one, he says, is to transform your workplace into a temple. There's a lot of yoga studios you guys can go to, and it's just like a blank room. But here we have all kinds of stuff to create this ambiance for you, to create this feeling that when you walk in, this is your sanctuary, this is your temple, this is your time to be good to yourself. So this feels different than when you walk into a gym. This feels different than when you walk into your kitchen, right? We've created something here that sets the mood or sets the mindset for you guys to be in here. So when we do our practice then, you know, even for me as an Ashtanga teacher, like when I practiced with Guruji, when I practiced with Sharat and Tim Miller all those years, they were very picky and held the standard very high of the student's attention in a class. And so when we do a lead class, the attention is even higher because we're all holding it for each other and we're holding it together. No one's walking around the room talking. I'm not stopping and saying, look at Melanie. Everyone, I want you to do this the way Melanie's doing. Or there is nothing I do. I don't ever even call out your names to say anything good or bad because I don't want to draw your mind off your focus. We are all moving in this together to bring our minds to a higher level of focus. And I don't know if you guys find this, but when we're in a lead class, it's usually easier, hopefully, not to think about what you're going to have for dinner or what you didn't do on the computer before you came here. But even if you do, it's natural, right, for our mind to run around those places. You catch it more on your mat. And we have techniques to bring you back. So the breath, the drishti, all these things are meant to bring you back to here. And it's so important to me because if I was just here as an Ashtanga teacher teaching you advanced poses, or even advanced breathing or whatever, there would be something lacking for me. Yoga, if you look at all the old text about what yoga is about, the goal of yoga is what? Get stronger? What's the purpose of yoga?
Quieting the mind.
The most of the texts will say self-enlightenment, right? So we want to get self-enlightenment, but really it comes down to what you said. It's really about becoming a better version of yourself. Continuing on this path of like enlightenment here is like, I want to become better. And so a lot of that is tied into like what is the quality of your mind when you're in your practice? If I am doing an Ashtanga practice for an hour and a half and the whole time I'm angry, what would Guruji say? Some problem. I had the experience and I missed the meaning. You know, it would be a sad day for me if I did an hour and a half of yoga and was just pissy the whole time, right? So we know that. But we come in here angry sometimes. We come in here stressed sometimes. We come in here with all those things. And so this is your training ground to train your mind to focus and to be present. And when you get good at it on your mat, guess what? The whole purpose of yoga is to take it outside of this door and you get better at it in your life and you realize, I'm pissy today. Do I want to be pissy today? Probably not, right? So then I have that ability to change the way my mind is going. It's huge. It's everything. It's like, in my opinion, it's like one of the greatest gifts of yoga, you know? So then if you look at the rest of Casper's list, my homework for you guys today is to say, okay, well, the attention you give yoga when you come here, what else in your life is worthy of your time enough to be worthy of your full attention? You know, is it the time you spend, if I'm lucky enough to go and have coffee with Sherry today, is it worthy of my time to be with her? But more so, is it what is the quality of my mind? What is the quality of my attention when I get to spend this time with her? Am I looking at my cell phone the whole time? Am I looking at social media things? Am I looking to see who's walking in the coffee shop to see Sherry and I together, right? But it's the quality of my attention with her, you know, to think this was important to get to be with her. Now what really is my ability to be with her, you know? And so we look at that in aspects of our job, you know, or aspects of relationships we're in. You know, we get used to waking up with the same person every day and doing the same routines we do every day, that maybe the quality of that attention is not what it used to be. You know, so maybe you choose for your homework to say, I choose one golden hour a week, not a week, I was gonna say your partner, so a day. That's like, this is our golden hour, and we're going to do something together. It could be walking on the beach, it could be having dinner together, it could be sitting on the couch together, it could be gardening together, but this hour I want to give to you in this way. I'm going to give you my full attention, and it's going to start with some little ritual. Why not? That would be fun. And it's going to have all the qualities that we kind of described in here. What I have found with this myself, I will just tell you guys, for me, the thing that I chose was outside of the yoga, I'm doing writing. And when I write, I do this. You guys see if you do this anywhere in your life. I do this. I like start to write, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to go freshen up my coffee. And then I go to freshen up my coffee and go, I better water this plant. And then as I'm watering the plant, I realize that I don't need to change the stuff in the washer into the dryer. And then as I'm doing that, I realize that I really need to go pee. By the time I come back to my work, it's like so far from, you know, anything resembling like focus. So I'm taking this, you know, this little format here, which starts with how I do my yoga practice. But then it goes into this really beautiful, like having a ritual of beginning, doing 20-minute intervals where I don't do anything in those 20 minutes but focus on the job. And anyways, it's been very powerful for me. So your homework for this week is this. Find something in your life that is worthy of your time, but more so really worthy of your full attention. And have fun with some of these biohacks in your yoga practice, and bring your yoga outside these doors into some aspect of your life. Really kind of see it as svadhyaya, like an experiment. You know, like here, each other and myself as your teacher, I hold the bar high for your attention. That's really important to me. But in your life, see if you can be that and bring that somewhere into your life. Samasthitihi.